Okay, let's be real for a second. Why did it take you 20 minutes to make your desk look like a messy workspace today? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The perfectly placed coffee mug, the haphazard notebook open to a page of deep thoughts. We've all done it. We spend more time engineering the vibe of our lives than actually living them. It's this weird 2026 sickness, right? You see a sunset so beautiful it hurts, and your first instinct isn't to breathe. It's to panic because your phone battery is at 2%. If it's not captured in 4K, did it even happen? Or worse, did you even happen? We're suffering from a collective identity dysmorphia. You spend 4 hours on a video call with a face filter that makes you look like a god. Then you catch your reflection in a literal piece of glass and think, who is that tired stranger? We're exhausted. Not because we're working hard, but because we're performing ourselves 24/7? And honestly, this completely changed how I think about it. We aren't being authentic. We're just really good at marketing a product that used to be a human soul. To understand why we feel so hollow, we have to go back to ancient Rome. The word person comes from persona, the heavy masks actors wore in theater. But here's the cool part. The word actually stems from personare, which means to sound through. The mask wasn't there to hide the actor, it was a megaphone to amplify their voice. You were meant to be the soul behind the mask. But somewhere along the way, we forgot how to take the mask off. Enter Jean-Paul Sartre, the 20th century philosopher who basically predicted your Instagram anxiety. Sartre had this idea called the look. Imagine you're peeking through a keyhole, totally absorbed in what you're seeing. You're just a self acting in the world. But then you hear a floorboard creak behind you. Someone is watching you. Suddenly, you aren't a person anymore, you're an object. You see yourself through their eyes. You start managing yourself. Now imagine that look never goes away. That's the algorithm. It's a permanent, invisible eye that freezes us into products. You aren't wearing a mask to hide. You've become the mask just to survive the digital Panopticon. But it gets even darker. Theodor Adorno, a guy who was basically the original hater of the culture industry, argued that authenticus is just a product of the industrial machinery. Think about that raw, unfiltered video you saw this morning, the one with the shaky camera and the crying influencer. Adorno would tell you that's the most engineered thing you've ever seen. It's a commodity designed to make you feel a connection, so you keep clicking. Here's the intellectual shocker. The moment you share your true self, you kill it. You've taken a living, breathing, evolving human emotion and pinned it to a digital board like a dead butterfly for likes. Sartre called this bad faith. It's when you treat yourself like a finished product, a noun instead of a free, unpredictable process, a verb. We've turned our inner lives into a marketing department. We aren't being ourselves, and a brand can't be free. A brand can only be on trend or obsolete. When I first read this part, I literally had to put the book down. It's that uncomfortable. So, how do we break the machinery? We need a radical act of subversion. I call it the invisible hour. It's simple. Spend 60 minutes every single day on something you are strictly forbidden from photographing, recording, or ever mentioning online. If you bake a perfect sourdough loaf, you eat it in silence. If you go for a run, you leave the smartwatch at home. No metrics, no footage, just the feeling. We have to start doing a third-person audit. Before you pull out the camera, ask yourself, am I doing this for the feeling or for the footage? If it's for the footage, put the phone down and walk away. It'll feel like a waste at first. You'll feel that itch that if I don't post this, it's lost anxiety. But that itch is the sound of the algorithm losing its grip on your soul. Reclaim the secret. Use a physical journal where there's no edit button and no delete key. Write things that would get you canceled or mocked. Reclaim a version of yourself that doesn't have an audience. The most radical thing you can do in 2026 is keep a secret from the internet. Sartre believed we are being for itself, meaning we are fundamentally free to change at any moment. But the internet wants us to be being for others, a static image that people can categorize and consume. We feel lonely, not because we aren't sharing enough, but because we've shared the very parts of us that were meant to keep us whole. We've turned our souls into billboards, and then we wonder why nobody wants to talk to the person behind the sign. So here's the question I want you to sit with, not in a meditation way, but genuinely. Who are you in the 5 seconds after you put your phone down and the room goes silent. When the notifications stop and the likes don't matter, who is left? If you don't know the answer, that's okay. That's actually the most exciting part. It means you're finally free to start looking for the person who exists when the screen is off. Keep your life a secret for a bit. You might just find yourself there,